Yeah, and thanks to this connection, we are now excited to welcome today's speakers, Nadin Zimmermann. Some words about Nadin. She's a visionary leader and innovative expert with proven track records in developing digital and sustainable business models. She advises startups and corporates, combining deep market insights, a strong network, and hands-on support to drive circular economy innovations. As a business angel, mentor, and guest lecturer, she bridges entrepreneurship with research. And currently, she's expanding her expertise through executive program in sustainable innovation at Harvard University, deepening her knowledge in corporate responsibility, circular economy, and sustainable business models to help shape a more future-ready and ecological responsible corporate world. So yeah, that being said, please give a warm welcome to Nadin Zimmermann, and stage is yours.
Thank you, Ivan. So this long introduction just proves how old I am. It's just a lot of years I had the chance to do business. I have to disappoint you, it's not a movie. So the last 2 rows are not the best ones. The best ones are here because I want to interact with you. This event already is a proof how circularity works. It works through cooperation and integration. So we have 3 NGOs working together today to make this happen. So welcome to Wonder to Waste, or Waste to Wonder. It doesn't matter because it's a circle. When I asked in the briefing, what is the level of expertise? I was given the answer, oh, they come from everywhere. Some are beginners and some are experts. So that's quite difficult for me because I want us to be on the same level of understanding and understand the common concept, but I also want to dig deep when you want to. So we are all into that. That means ask your questions. If I explain a concept and I do it poorly, or I use a terminology that is not clear, please ask. And also, if you are an expert and you want to challenge me, go ahead. I look forward to that. So let's get started. You can scan the QR code. We can also put it in the chat for the online. Thank you. Please answer the first question. Ich glaube, ich kann mir jetzt schon auf Firefox gehen. Wow. 82% of you shop sustainably. I knew I'm in the right bubble. But I have to say, scientists say, okay, wait, scientists say, there we go. One more. Scientists say, don't believe them. Don't believe them because there is a big value and action gap. So despite all of us, or many of us want to shop sustainably, they actually don't. So what do you think are the reasons? Why is there a situation that you don't shop sustainably? Go ahead, we all had that. Price, absolutely, absolutely. It's more expensive. And research shows that there is a strong correlation between level of income and sustainable shopping. Price, absolutely. What else? Absolutely. Can you explain a bit more on that? Yeah. Yeah, greenwashing is a big problem. So you want to buy sustainable, but you can't because you really don't know, is it sustainable and fully circular or not? Do you have examples of greenwashing? You all have examples of greenwashing. It's on here. This recycle symbol. How much of these bottles get recycled? Make a guess. A team of 7 can weigh the weight of an ox correctly. So statistically, it's possible that you estimate the right percentage. Give it a try. What do you think? So yeah, 5%? Another? What do you think? 13. Oh, we have small optimism here. Yeah. Yeah. That's absolutely true. On plastic recycle, the global average is on 8%, but Germany is not that much higher. So we are not at 80% or so. But when we talk about glass recycling, then we have an excelling 99% collection and recycling rate. So, danke zu Deutsche Pfandsystem. This is going to work. Another reason why we can't shop sustainable. Friday night, 7:30, weekend grocery shopping still outstanding. Yeah. 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 Absolutely. So it's a question of convenience. Yeah. So, and all these 3 arguments are important when we look going forward into business models and product design. Because all these criteria need to be met for a product to be attractive to customers. So why do we need cradle-to-cradle and circular economy? Any ideas? Mm-hmm. True. Resources? Any other reasons? So when you click one more, the current economic system is a linear system. So some call it is from cradle to grave. Or we have the linear approach at the beginning that we extract the resources from the earth. Then we manufacture them, then we use them, and then we put them back as a waste. And when we now look at why do we need a circular economic model, I want us to look at it from 2 perspectives. One is the ecological perspective, and the other is the economic side. So when we move forward. So you said we have finite resources. True and not true. The Earth itself is a closed loop, and it's regenerating itself, so it has, in theory, unlimited resources. But what's the problem? Depending on the time scale, they do over a very long period. So that's a point. Time scale, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So we have loss during the extraction. Yeah. So the point is, and that's on the time scale, we exploit the Earth at a rate or at a speed that it cannot itself regenerate. Do we have a new student here? So this leads to the situation on the right side. You've all seen these planetary boundaries, but apart from us telling it that it's urgent to act, what else is it telling us from an economic perspective? Absolutely, they become rare. And when we look on the right-hand side, you're not back to chemistry class, but all the technical products we produce are based on these elements. And here you see the time spans that we anticipate that they are still available with us. So when we start with nickel, there are so many products that we need nickel for. What do we need nickel for? Batteries. So the whole concept of new mobility depends on nickel. What else? Batteries are in vehicles and in any other device. So the whole, sorry. Yeah, absolutely. So we need it for construction. And we also need it for the digitalization and for connectivity. So for all of that, we need nickel. And according to this research, we run out of that in 50 to 100 years. At current extraction rates. However, demand is rising by 300%. So that's a very positive estimation. When we look at lithium, what do we need lithium for? Again, batteries. So e-mobility is based on lithium. And we are running out of that very shortly. What is the growth rate or the demand ratio until 2030 for the next 5 years? Make a guess. How is demand rising for lithium? It's not 8%. Any other guess? Yeah, absolutely. Spot on. That's true. It's rising by 500% over the next 5 years. So what does that make? What does that make? You said it. It's rare and it's high in demand. You don't need to study business administration to understand that. What is going to happen? What's the consequence? It's price increases. And we see that over all commodities. This is the World Commodity Price Index, so it's free of inflation. And despite all our exploit, despite all the efficiencies we gained, we haven't achieved decreasing the prices. And this is what the linear model promises us. With that economic system, we are able to reduce prices so that everyone can afford things and we are a wealthy global community. It hasn't proven right. And then when we look at rare earth we need for any kind of loudspeaker. We need it for any kind of sensor. So who of you was at the Circular Republic Festival? Yeah. So what type of startups did you see there? What did they do? Mm-hmm. Okay. Great. Yeah. Die Antwort? So her answer was there was a startup team looking into the digital product path, and another team was looking into making the employees' tasks circular, right? Okay, thank you. A lot of circular startups are looking into mechanisms. They all use software, AI, big data, but in combination with mechanical devices that, for example, sort. And for all these new technologies, we need sensors. And sensors need rare earth. All our medical devices require rare earths. So when you go to the doctor, you get an MRT, hopefully it saves your life, we need rare earths. And when we look at it, where are the rare earths around the world? You're very unlucky in Europe, aren't we? So we better think of an alternative way of keeping our economy active and wealthy than a linear system. So scan again the QR code. Genau, da kommt jetzt eine Word Cloud. Genau. Oh. Das ist nochmal genau. Dann musst du auf die nächste Slide gehen. Hier. Und dann da draufklicken. Nur im Präsentator-Modus. Du musst auf Vollmodus gehen. Alles gut. Noch ein? Ja. Noch eine weiter. Und da ist es verlinkt. Okay, next. Okay. It seems the word cloud is not working. Maybe we try it once more. It leads to the first question. It's not guiding you to the second one. Okay, then we skip it. And I write the names, I write the words. So, what, oh, go back. So, what do you consider? Give me a word and then I count. One word, what do you consider when, yeah, transport. So you say, I look for local. Okay, who else is looking for local? Okay, next time I ask who's not looking for local. So what else? Materials, right. How do you check that? Okay, yeah, so you look into the details of the material list. When you look at cotton and you just take cotton, do you even go further? So maybe organic cotton only. So there are green fashion labels as well. Yeah, so it's not always that transparent what the ingredients of a product are, like in fashion. Then labels maybe. Are you considering labels when shopping? A few less. Yeah. Yeah. When you look for labels, do you differentiate whether it's certified by third parties or whether the company just gave it an own label? You don't realize. Absolutely. Yeah. It's a great area of greenwashing. For example, In the US, Coca-Cola brought a new bottle, and they had that green arrow symbol and a plant next to it. And they called that plastic bottle a plant bottle. What do you think is included in a plant bottle? What is it made of? Bioplastics? Any other suggestions? Yeah, good thinking. The truth is, it continues to be made out of fossil fuels, except for 2%, which are rapsöl. So they replace 2% of the fossil fuels by a plant-based oil, and this way they dare to call it a plant bottle and mislead customers. So be aware of labels. There are a lot of green labels. A lot of companies changed their logos to green, but look out whether they are really certified. Do you know certified labels? Fair trade, true, fair trade. Which one? Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Deforestation Alliance. I need to repeat it for the YouTube channel. Not that many, because it's not that transparent, it's not that public knowledge.
An environmental engineer, and I have seen that she basically gets extorted into signing things, and it's not true that the products are actually real. For example, in Primark, I bought these like cotton kitchen towels, and yes, they are cotton, but definitely there's something up with them. Like, you don't need to be a scientist, you just have to touch them. And so it says it's 100% cotton. Maybe, I don't know what it does it mean when they say 100% cotton. And there's a company, there's this as OXO or something company that backs a lot of the cotton products in Munich, and I just don't trust them. And so I don't believe in certifications, to be completely honest. I don't believe in any of these institutions.
Okay, I see your point, and I share your perspective that it's important to be cautious. So for example, a white product producer, we all know, produced the fridge, and you all know these labels at the fridge, how energy intensive they are, and they just graded it an A. So very high efficiency, low energy needed. And then it got tested by TÜV Süd, and they found out it didn't even meet the E, which is the lowest category. And they were claimed for greenwashing. But we are not yet filing in that respect as much as hopefully Protect the Planet will make it. Do you know a case where a company was sued for greenwashing? HSBC and, yeah, sorry. VW? Yeah, yeah. But that was for incorrect disclosure. Yeah, would have been great if it were for greenwashing as well, because that was the reason why they did it, but we didn't sue for that reason. Yeah. HSBC, a big bank in the UK, and they were running a campaign stating that they are now a green bank because they invest over 300 million in green assets. Why were they sued? Yeah, because they still invest billions of pounds or dollars into industry that are fossil fuel, tobacco, and you name it. So there are organizations out there that truly check that what companies claim is true, because hopefully it will increases the trust of the consumers. Yeah. Okay. None of you, none of you had said, I look at the life cycle of a product. She said I wanted to. Do you consider the life cycle or the lifespan, how long it lasts? No, I was asking what, I stopped doing that exercise. You're right. So in case you wanted to say lifespan, how do you check that?
For example, I've been shopping for clothes lately, and I looked out that it was like not polyester, for example.
Yeah.
Because like I recently had like a couple of clothes made, primarily from polyester, and they were like done after almost a year. Like they deteriorated pretty fast, and with like a few times of washing, they started to like develop holes even.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's something I was keeping an eye on.
Yeah, perfect, good. Any other ideas, examples, how you can check a lifespan, or whether do you consider it in your? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think going forward, it will be much more transparent, but currently it isn't. Currently it isn't. So how often is the average t-shirt worn? How often do you think people wore the same thing? Globally, because I hope you're better in Germany. Tell me. 10 times. Yeah.
Because the average cloth is worn 7 times, and I guess a t-shirt is 12 times.
Wishful thinking, I have to say. Wishful thinking. The average t-shirt is worn 3 times, and then it's thrown away. Have you seen the Chile desert, where all the fashion waste gets thrown? A big portion of that still has the label, so the etiquette, price tag, price tag on it. And this is why the average reduces a bit. So I hope we are more sensible when we do shopping than not to wear it at all or just 3 times. So I looked at some products we often use and how long we use them. So AirPods, for example, we use them 2 years, but they could last for 5 to 6 years. Why are we changing it? I mean, an AirPod looks like an AirPod. That's what they tell you in the marketing, absolutely. Yeah, that's what they do. Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Especially with the technological stuff, the compatibility is becoming a problem. And if you're using an old stuff like an old AirPods or an old iPhone, then it stops to be integrated with the system, and eventually system forces you to change. So
yeah, true. You're well trained. You wait for the micro.
I saw something recently along lines like that of not being able to change the batteries and things, and they just have a particular lifespan and they're integral to the device, and so you physically can't break open your AirPod to change the battery, void your warranty, all that stuff. Or even computers now, it is really hard to change out a particular component sometimes, so you're forced to replace it.
Yeah, absolutely, you're spot on. The reason why you can wear AirPods only for 2 years is because the battery runs out and you can't change it. What does this make the company?
Yeah, so in general, companies are incentivized to make shorter lasting products to make more money.
Yeah.
Because if you buy more, then they make more money.
Yeah.
So it goes to basically every product is made for a shorter lifetime.
Nowadays.
Nowadays, yes.
Yeah. I agree, and there is a term for that. Do you know the term? It's called planned obsolescence. Companies strategically do that. And what is counteracting, luckily? What did the EU say? Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, they postpone it and postpone it, but by 2026 now they say it's German law. So by now you've already read that, so let's switch to the next one. What do you think is that? So now I go back. Wir zwei gehen da mal hoch. Wir gehen da jetzt ganz hoch in die letzte Reihe, damit die auch was davon haben. Weißt du's? Was gerade so gesagt? No idea. Any one of you? Any idea what this is? It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Make a guess. Yeah. A carpet pattern, okay. Yeah, looks like that. Women tend to say something different. What else could it be? There's no wrong. You won't guess it. Yeah.
I'm assuming those are textiles, different weave qualities, so how they're woven, how tight they're woven, and the quality by which they're woven.
Okay, getting closer, but unfortunately still cold. It is.
I think it's fields, but I don't know what plants are on there.
I like to think of them as tulips, but unfortunately they are not. It's, yeah, go ahead. You have a guess? It is bicycles, absolutely. It's a landfill of e-scooters in China. It's a landfill of e-scooters in China. How long is the average lifespan of an e-scooter? I think you've all used it. So how long does these things last? Give it a try. Unfortunately, you're right. Yeah, you knew it, yeah. 3 months is the average lifespan of an e-scooter. We have all the rare earth extracted to build that. It's material intense, but we are not maintaining it. So we go to the next one. We create through that 62 million metatons of e-waste in landfills. That's a big number, okay. But what does that mean? What does that relate to? It relates to 260 meters wide, height, and deep. Imagine a skyscraper in Dubai. It's not one of the small skyscrapers. It's not the highest. Ich will jetzt nicht schon wieder switchen, weil ich habe eigentlich ein Foto von dem. Sind wir in der Zeit? Oh, I'm running over. Okay, so it's a skyscraper. It's not just a skyscraper. It's a block of skyscrapers that we create with e-waste. What's the problem with e-waste? It's not the volume, because you could say a block every year. Okay, we could handle that. We are a big world. What's the problem? It's the toxicity. So e-waste leashes toxicity into our nature. And even we get the toxicity out of the electronic devices we use. When we run the volume game is when we talk about plastic. So we have 350 million metric tons of plastic waste, of which only get 8% recycled a year, global average. What does that relate to? It's 155,000 Olympic-size swimming pools. You need to take a picture from a satellite to have them all on one picture. That's the plastic waste in 1 year. What is the plastic waste of 1 day of water bottles in the US? 1 day water bottles in the US. You know the answer? So it's 1 cubic meter. 1 meter, 1 meter, 1 meter. Around the world, 5 times. Each day, just water bottles just in the US. So we are not talking about microplastic or anything else. We are talking about a volume problem on top of that. Yeah, I know I need to speed up. So what are we doing at the moment? We are in the sufficiency game. So we use recaps. I saw someone with Urban Outfitters. So we have reusable bags when we go shopping. Are companies doing that? Not that much. Deutsche Telekom invented a machine where they package, where they create the package exactly the size of the product. So by that, they reduce the cartonage they need. So there are innovations in that field where we reduce the usage. The majority is in the game. We do the same, just with less. Did you want to say something? Do the same with less. When we look at the corporate companies and review their strategic goals, what are the strategic goals? That is the long vision. That is what they really strive to achieve. What is that? I picked it from a list. Number 1, carbon neutrality, net zero emissions, science-based emission reduction goals, 100% renewable energy, sustainable product design, and energy and resource efficiency. So we are big still in the efficiency game. But what do we need? When we look at the planetary boundaries, this is just not enough. Doing less harm is not helping us. So we need to look into doing the right. Then we talk about eco-effectiveness. Eco-effectiveness, one solution is the circular economy. So we move away from the linear approach and keep the products in use at the highest possible value. And when you look at it from an entrepreneur perspective, that sounds amazing. The waste of today are the resources of tomorrow at yesterday's prices. Look at the commodity price indices. They're rising. If you were running a business, would that sound appealing to you? You get your raw materials at yesterday's prices? It definitely does. So it makes absolute economic sense to look into circular business models. Is it just a dream? Is it just us believing that? It's not. So we have 51% German corporates that have circular economy as a strategic goal. They've just started that. When you look at their KPIs, that means they have a true operative target that their employees need to act against. It's only 13%. So still wishful thinking, but they at least understood that there's economic value in that. The circular economy market is valued at $556 billion US, and it's at a growth rate of 22.5%, which is a big number when we see what growth rates we see in average. I mean, what is the prediction for Germany this year? It's far away from 22%. And this is not circular on the right side alone. It's sustainable in general. So we see the private equity assets invested are decreasing, except for that sustainability. Here we still see rising investments. So people do believe in that, and they give money for that. So what is the circular economy? I see that we have a lot of experts here already. So one circle is the biosphere, where that is all that we eat, basically, or that we can eat. And it stays in that circle. The ultimate goal here is to have everything 100% biodegradable, so that anything we produce in the biocycle can be returned to nature without doing any harm. And on the right side, we have the technosphere, that is everything that we produce. And here is the idea, we keep it at the highest value for the longest time possible and keep it in closed loops. Okay. So what are the 4 loops? Loop number 4 is we use it as long as possible. What is needed? We need to repair it. We need to be at least able to change a battery because we know batteries run off. We need to repair. What repairs did you do in the past? What do you still repair? Clothes you repair? Okay, you have a needle and a simple repairs. Yeah, I can handle a knot. What else? What do you repair? Yeah, true. We like our bicycles. Well spotted. Bicycle repairs. Garages, car. We also repair our cars. What else do we repair? Furniture. How do you repair your furniture?
At least I try not to buy a new one every time, and I try to learn from YouTube, for example, how to fix it. It's not only furniture, it's like parts of the house, for example, the door. I don't know. Yeah, if it does not count as furniture, but it's part of part of the house appliances, maybe.
Yeah. So you do it yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I try to. Yeah.
Perfect. Love that. Some can. I had the prof at Harvard, and he showed us how to do that. But I tell you, I would fail. But if you can, I know where to go to. Yeah. But what are the obstacles? Knowledge? Okay. What other? Yeah.
Actually, we can definitely, for example, renew our products. And for example, a new book is what, like up to 5,000 euros. And you can use it, like I have my iPhone already 7 years. I just replaced the battery and the screen. It's like new.
Yeah, I do the same. And my kids said to me, Mama, du bist so peinlich mit dem alten Smartphone. Yeah. But repairability requires that you get the spare parts. Sometimes you don't get the spare parts. I wanted to repair my kettle. I had that, okay? I admit that designed kettle. And just the handle, the screw fell off, but inside. And I tried to unscrew it from the bottom and take the 2 layers off and screw it again. I was unable to do it. I searched YouTube, full of these design kettles that had exactly that problem, and they all said we failed to repair it. Are there companies offering now repair models? Yeah, some phone companies do, yeah? Yeah, they agree that they have spare parts for the next 10 years, and they offer you kindly a platform where you can hire a repair person. So yeah, they think of that and enable you to help yourself.
I'm not so sure about the English term, but the modular furniture like IKEA and stuff, they're also like giving you some spare parts and reciprocating this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Is that really repair? Can you really repair an IKEA table that got eine Delle? You can't, because it's such poor quality and it's all pressed together. You can do with a wooden chair. And it's true, IKEA is claiming they have a repair because they provide you now online, aren't they kindly? You can now online get the spare parts. So yes, companies are understanding that and they develop business models to that. Reuse and redistribute. That is basically, again, we repair old stuff or used stuff, but we change the owner. Yeah, so I give it to you, which used to be secondhand. No one says secondhand anymore. What business models do you find in that segment? What companies are doing that? At the big one, where do you sell your used stuff? Thank you. Patagonia. Patagonia. They are offering, oh, we are not yet seeing the elephant. We are still waiting for it, but I need to hurry up. Patagonia is a good example. They offer repair of their stuff. They offer secondhand, so they bring it up to a nearly original quality and sell that. Who else? eBay. They started it off. Did they start it off as an ecological business model? No, they didn't. But what did they change now? When you sell something, what comes up? A green earth telling how good you were selling it on eBay. So yeah, so these are the business models. And it's not like just using digitalization to offer platforms and generate a new market as eBay did. Now the companies are taking that on. And there are a lot of startups that are taking that on as well. They develop software and the adjacent services and provide it either white label or as a plug-in to the companies. So Chibo, for example, they are cooperating with a startup and they are offering repair of their coffee machines, as well as when we move on to refurbishment and remanufacturing. The last one is recycle. I think we talked about recycle already. And the limitation, is recycling a viable business model? Give it a try. Right? You could still use it for other products that require less quality, one reason. So that makes it difficult. What are other reasons why it's not a viable product?
Or recycle the old product, you need to like take back the things again and to put into in the manufacturing process again and then make the new product.
Yeah.
So it takes also the energy and other things.
Yeah.
Again.
It requires high energy. It creates pollution again. That makes it cost intensive, and you cannot use it for the same quality of product than before. So it, very often less pricey. There's one big obstacle on top of that. Think of Germans. Yeah, go.
It needs to be like pure when you collect it.
True. You need the collection ratios to bring them up. In Germany, we are good with glass bottles because we get 8 cents back for a beer bottle. We're not that good in other countries. We need to sort them. We need to sort them, which is currently still a manual process on top of the energy that is required. That makes it price intensive. And why is there no market for it? Everyone claims we now want recycled materials. We want to be green. Say again? Absolutely.
It's cheaper to produce new products instead of recycling it.
That's one big reason. The virgin plastic, for example, is still cheaper than the recycled one. And even if I really wanted to, if I were a CEO and said, no, I want to change the world, I want to be green, I use recycled plastic. Why can't I do it? It's the patents. The IP, the intellectual property, often requires virgin materials. So you need to change all your patents to be allowed to use recyclable material. And this is why we have an elephant. What is the elephant? What haven't we thought of? What is a decisive factor for circular economy?
I'm just going to say one word: capitalism. I mean, I think in all sense, you're going back to patents, the income, the interests. I mean, if you have to, like, if I have to point one elephant, then it's capitalism.
Okay, interesting. Might be right, but look at the investment rates, which was true until 24. This year it's unfortunately changing. So I hope the spirits get up again. What is it? To make a circular economy happen, what is required? The big elephant.
To think at the beginning of the production, so to design the product itself recyclable or like circular.
Thank you. Thanks for that correction. It is the design. We need to start today to design the products to be capable to foster and have a thriving circular economy. And if we do this today, how long does it take? About 10 years, because to change a shop floor in a big manufacturing company takes up to 10 years. So we... Then I'm voting for 3 elements today. 1 is design, 2nd is capitalism, and 3 is regulation. I want them to be forced. That's regulation. The force is the regulation. The incentive is the capitalism. And the vision is the design. So we move forward too. So 80% of whether a product can be circular and its social and environmental impacts are decided in the design phase. After that, you can only make smaller adjustments. So this is why there are 3 top design principles for circular economy. Design out toxicity, pollution, and waste. Design to keep products, materials, and components in use. And design for regeneration of resources and ecosystems. That means we think of waste as food for our planet. Okay. And the cradle-to-cradle specific is here, that they go even further in their design requirements. They see we only design positive materials. So we are not saying it's free of something. No, it's 100% biodegradable and nothing else. And the good news is they do a certification. Yeah. Yeah, that's different. So it needs to be biodegradable, that it can be returned to that, but fossil fuel is not 100% biodegradable. There's still a toxicity element of that. And they talk about true 100% and not these, yeah. So when we move forward. So that is where you can check products that are cradle-to-cradle certified. And there are many of that are in the backup. I don't show them to you now. But this is an organization that truly and honestly checks the product's design for its circular requirements. So with that, I say, from wonder to waste, from waste to wonder. It is not an ecological vision, it's an economic necessity. Thank you.